Welcome everyone to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel. You're watching it live on YouTube at youtube.com/AaronRiftNoDQ. Thank you guys for watching this live, and also thank you to those of you watching on demand. Big night of Raw tonight. We now have the key matches set up for Survivor Series. Ricky Lawson says, amazing, great. I think that's in regards to Raw. A lot of people wondering what's going on with SmackDown Live. Is Shane McMahon a heel now? Are the SmackDown guys heels? Are they all heels? What's the deal? WrestleKid said, who saw that coming? Tom says, Kane is boring without his fire in the ring. A lot of things to talk about. We have the TLC pay-per-view from last night. We also have the Survivor Series matches to discuss. So basically, it is in fact Raw versus SmackDown. That is the theme of this year's Survivor Series. We are going to have champion versus champion. Unfortunately, it is set in stone. Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar. Oh boy. Basically, it's bragging rights, as ZR J-Ro says. It is like bragging rights with the Raw versus SmackDown matches. Even the logo has the red and the blue, just like the old bragging rights logo used to have. We have Women's Champion on Raw, Alexa Bliss, versus the SmackDown Live Women's Champion, Natalya. We have a Women's SmackDown versus Women's Raw Survivor Series match. We have that for the men's. Kurt Angle was supposed to announce his team for Survivor Series. However, Shane McMahon came out with the entire SmackDown Live roster, or at least most of them. I wasn't trying to make sure everybody was accounted for. I know Rusev was there. Happy Rusev Day, by the way, to everyone out there watching. Dylan says, when is wrestling going to be cool again? You mean the SmackDown guys beating up Titus Brand wasn't cool enough for you, Dylan? It seems like most of you liked the ending to Raw. What did you guys think about the ending? So basically we had the SmackDown guys come out there. They went backstage. They beat up everybody. They beat up all the Raw guys, including Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. And then they came back to the ring with Kurt Angle as their hostage. And then Shane said that Kurt better bring his A game and all that stuff. And then they left. And that was Raw. That was the end of Raw. Ricky Lawson says Kurt Angle versus Shane. Maria says that ending was awesome. So it seems like a lot of you did like that ending. Chance Game says one of the best endings of Raw this year. AJ turning on the Shield. Ending was terrific. So, yeah, I'm looking at the comments here. You guys did seem to like the end of Raw. By the way, we have 206 live viewers already, which is awesome. So thank you guys for watching live. Keep spreading the word. Let's see if we can hit 300 tonight. I thought that the segment was okay. It was different. Here's my big issue with that final segment of Raw. I'm not a fan of the shaky camera work. The shaky camera work does not make me more excited about what I'm seeing. It doesn't add any dramatic effect to the segment. I hate it. I've never been a fan of the shaky camera work, whether it's in movies or television or WWE. I just think it's a cheap effect to try to artificially create drama. I think good drama doesn't need shaky camera work. Dylan agrees. He says the shaky cameras suck. Hate me now, 515 says agreed. So, I wish Joe Cronin was there to kick Kevin Dunn's ass. I know you guys might have saw that sign on Raw with Joe Cronin is better than Kevin Dunn. For those of you that missed it, Joe Cronin was on the NoDQ panel this week, so check it out if you haven't already. I wish Joe Cronin was there to kick Kevin Dunn's ass. That would have been really nice, in my opinion. But anyways, yeah, my big issue with that segment was not a fan of the shaky camera work. Although Stephen Osborne says it wasn't as bad as Blair Witch. Well, that's true. And by the way, I think that movie's terrible. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, I've never been a fan of the shaky camera work, and it's weird that the SmackDown guys are heels, although at this point I've been enjoying Raw better than SmackDown, so SmackDown might as well be the heels. The really weird thing, though, is that Shane, he's supposed to be feuding with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and now he's a heel all of a sudden. So that was a little awkward and weird. Benoit Fan 316 says, talk about Jinder Mahal. So, yeah, we have Jinder Mahal versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Champion versus champion. Boring. We had Paul Heyman come out, and I talked about this last week. I was like, what is WWE going to do with the Paul Heyman promo? Is Heyman going to put over Jinder Mahal as a credible champion? And I said that would make Paul Heyman not credible. If he puts over Jinder Mahal, nobody's going to buy that. They ended up doing the other thing, which is burying Jinder Mahal, which at least keeps Paul Heyman credible because he's essentially telling the truth. He went out there, he said that Jinder Mahal is a consolation champion, and he's only the champion because SmackDown got the short end of the stick. By the way, 260 live viewers. This is awesome. Thank you, guys. Let's see if we hit 300 tonight. If we hit 300, one person in the chat room will get a NoDQ.com t-shirt. I promise that. One person in the chat room tonight will get a t-shirt if we hit 300. We're at 261. So if you're commenting, and you got to be commenting because I'm going to pick somebody who's actually participating. So if you're commenting in the chat room, the more you comment, the better chance you have because it's more likely I'll see your username. 300 live viewers, and I will pick one person who's participating in the chat room. 270. 270. I feel like this is a telethon. You know, the higher numbers. Keep it going. Share this on Facebook, Twitter, wherever. Anyways, let's get back to the video before people start complaining and tune out. So, Paul Heyman basically buried Jinder Mahal. He said Jinder Mahal was not a worthy champion. He's not like Hulk Hogan or Undertaker or even Brock Lesnar. He's a joke of a champion. And he basically called the Singh brothers knockoffs of what he does. So yeah, Heyman more or less told the truth. And man, these comments are going so fast now, I'm barely able to see anything. Dylan said Paul is correct. Okay. Tyler Joseph Smith and the other moderators in here, please get rid of some of these guys that are spamming. If you're spamming or not getting a t-shirt, you got to leave some good comments if you want the t-shirt. If I see you commenting like L or just letters and saying stupid stuff, you're not getting a t-shirt. You got to have some actual good commentary about Raw. So somebody asked me here, should Brock Lesnar squash Jinder Mahal? Well, there is a rumor. There's a rumor that John Cena is going to be the special guest referee. No mention of that was made on Raw. That would actually make sense because you could do a screwy finish where Jinder Mahal gets screwed by John Cena, and that sets up WrestleMania. Even though I'm not a fan of seeing that match at WrestleMania, if you're going to do that for WrestleMania, at least that would make sense where Cena screws over Mahal, and then Mahal wants payback, and that sets up Cena versus Mahal at WrestleMania. So if you're going to do Cena versus Mahal, that way you can do something to get through that match and have Mahal lose without looking overly weak. That is something WWE could do, have John Cena as the referee. And yes, John Cena is a free agent, so he could really appear on either brand. And I guess they could play up on that which side is John Cena going to lean towards? Is he going to be helping Brock Lesnar on Raw, or is he going to be helping Jinder Mahal on SmackDown? So they could play that up where John Cena's neutral and you're not sure which side he's going to be on. But of course, Mahal will have all of his guys, the Singh brothers, interfere, and then Cena's going to say, you know what, I'm done with this. He gives Mahal the F5, and then Lesnar beats him. They could do something like that. Converse Craig. Oh, Converse Craig was at the show tonight. So you guys can chat with him in the chat room about that. He says it was a good live show tonight. I heard the attendance was a little disappointing. I heard they did not sell out tonight, despite being in a fairly small arena in Green Bay, which is a little interesting. Oh, let's talk about the Women's Survivor Series match. Ty Williams says, He's mentioning Alicia Fox being the team captain. I don't think he was a big fan of that. I like it. I thought it was funny. And Converse Craig says that it was a fun crowd even though it wasn't sold out. So I like the idea of Alicia Fox being the team captain. I think it's entertaining. I think this is her chance to really shine, and I like the idea that the captain is absolutely crazy and she's unpredictable. I think it's entertaining for the storyline. So I'm a big fan of it. I like the fact that Alicia Fox is the captain. I love it. I think it's entertaining, her being crazy and being insane. I think it's an entertaining gimmick. And some of you don't seem to agree with me. I'm seeing F off and a couple other comments here. So some of you are not too thrilled about Alicia Fox, but I like it. I think it's a nice change, having her be the loose cannon team captain, just to make things unpredictable and interesting for the Survivor Series match. I'm a fan personally of it. Oh, so Braden, so we had, okay, I have to rant about something. So in a couple minutes here, right at about 8:30, 11:30 Eastern, I am going to rant on a certain match on Raw. Something that I thought was really dumb. Maybe you guys can guess what that is in a couple minutes. 8:30, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. Andrew says, will Paige return for Survivor Series? That would be interesting. I think that would be a good opportunity to bring her back. Maybe even have her be a free agent and do a segment on Raw where both Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon are trying to get her services for the women's Survivor Series match. I like that idea a lot. If you're going to bring her back, this is the opportunity to do it and make her a big deal by making her a free agent and have the two sides fight over her. I like that a lot. So Elias versus Jason Jordan. We had Elias hitting Jordan with the guitar, and I believe he did that to Balor. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was Balor a couple of months ago. So basically, Elias is becoming the new Jeff Jarrett, which he might as well, because Jeff Jarrett is pretty much a joke now. Jarrett, of course, if you guys missed the news today, Jarrett is completely gone from Global Force Wrestling. No more Jeff Jarrett. Well, I shouldn't say Global Force. I should say Impact Wrestling. So basically, GFW and Jeff Jarrett are no longer part of Impact Wrestling / TNA. Again, this isn't even the first time that Jeff Jarrett has been removed from the company he helped form. Oh well, I don't really think anybody's too sad about that. I mean, Jeff Jarrett, as the saying goes, he broke 6,000 guitars and never drew a dime. So good riddance to Jeff Jarrett, but it's really too late. William Gray, maybe Jeff Jarrett can go back to selling Global Force Gold at this point. I mean, that seems like the only thing he can really do at this point is sell that Global Force Gold. Anyways, in a couple minutes here, I will rant on a certain Raw match. Yes, it was Mike Graham that said that line about Jarrett and the 6,000 guitars, but never drawing a dime. How long until Roman Reigns returns, asks Braden. He should be back by around Survivor Series. They may or may not have him on the card. I think it depends on how quickly he recovers from his illness, which I think, based on what I've heard about it, if it is in fact what he has, it could take about 2 weeks of recovery time. But I think they want to make sure that it's completely gone and nobody else is going to risk getting sick. And I believe a lot of the guys on Raw have gotten their shots. So hopefully that's the end of it and WWE doesn't have to change any matches for Survivor Series. Is Enzo contagious? Well, he's kicked out of the locker room, so apparently. So if that's the case, then he would be the one guy that is exempt from having that illness, and there's no way he would have the illness if that rumor is true, because he's not allowed in the locker room. That's the running joke, of course. So yeah, that Cruiserweight segment I thought was very entertaining. I loved it. I loved Drew Gulak reading off Enzo's promo. I thought that was legitimately one of the funniest things on Raw in a long time. I was very entertained by that, and then Enzo having all the guys spell out SAWFT. Very good stuff. Who is the team leader for... Oh, I missed it. These questions are going... Somebody said Aaron Rift or Rift Aronson versus Jeff Meacham. You guys keep bugging me about that. I keep getting these comments constantly. Everyone wants to see me versus Jeff in a trivia match. But, oh man, you guys are really pressuring me. Anyways, let's move on here. I have to rant on Monday Night Raw. I got something to say. And I'm going to talk about that Kane segment, that Kane match with Finn Balor. Now, under normal circumstances, I understand the logic. Yeah, Kane is 7 feet tall, and it's not believable for somebody like Finn Balor to beat him. I get that. I've even said it myself, like when Rey Mysterio was beating up Kane. I was like, that's not believable. So I'm going to be a hypocrite here. This was stupid, and I'll tell you why. Number one, Kane is 50 years old, and I think you would have to be living under a rock to not know that he's running for political office. And then after this whole corporate Kane thing WWE was doing, how do you really take this guy seriously? I get it. They're trying to build him for Braun Strowman, but why Finn Balor? You have so many guys on the roster that you can feed to Kane. Why not Matt Hardy? Why not Jason Jordan? I mean, yeah, you're trying to build up Jordan, but Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar? You just had Finn Balor beat AJ Styles on a pay-per-view. What is WWE thinking here? Why Balor? You have so many other choices. Matt Hardy, anybody, any mid-card babyface act you could have fed to Kane on Raw. Why do you choose Balor when he beats AJ Styles and then he might possibly face Brock Lesnar in January? Why? Makes no sense to me whatsoever. It pretty much just erases everything they did at the pay-per-view. If you guys watched the predictions, I said Finn Balor should beat AJ to build up Balor for Brock Lesnar. I mean, Balor did mention Brock Lesnar and wanting to get the Universal title match. So why not build up Balor and protect him? So what's the point in having him beat AJ just for him to lose to 50-year-old Kane, who is running for political office next year and was doing the corporate Kane, the silly corporate Kane gimmick a couple of years back? Why? I thought that was the stupidest thing on Raw in quite some time. So I thought that was a huge miss. Just felt like a complete waste of Balor. And that further makes me want to say that the best match at TLC was the main event and not Balor versus AJ Styles, because why have Balor even beat Styles if you're just going to have him jump out to Kane the next night? I don't get it. Not a fan of it. And by the way, I thought TLC was definitely a better show. The TLC match was a better match than the Balor versus AJ match. Just my opinion, though. I know a lot of you disagree, but I thought the main event was entertaining. So I'm just going to say that. I know some of you out there, well, a lot of you actually, based on the NoDQ.com poll, you guys thought the AJ Balor match was the best match of the show. The thing is, that match, as good as it was, it's pretty much the same type of match that you could see on the indies. We've seen a lot of different matches like that over the past year. The main event was unique. It was something different. And I like the fact that it wasn't your typical main event. Yes, it was a little strange. Maybe it was too long. Maybe there were some awkward spots in the match. But I enjoyed it, and I was thoroughly entertained for 35, 40 minutes, however long the match was. And I thought it delivered. So I say the TLC match was the best match at the pay-per-view. It did remind me of like an Attitude Era match. See, I think the fans now are so into New Japan Pro Wrestling and Ring of Honor that they love all the pure wrestling, that they don't care for the stuff that was stylish during the Attitude Era. These big train wreck type matches where you have one big spot after another, guys going through tables, guys going off the stage, and just all this chaos that you get in a main event. You used to see stuff like this all the time in the Attitude Era, where the guys would brawl by the stage and throw each other off the stage and put each other through tables, and just where the whole thing felt like it was chaos and just these guys were just brawling all over the place, like a Pier 6 brawl. That they did that a lot during the Attitude Era, but now everybody's got to have all their big high spots. You know, it's Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Everyone wants their pure wrestling. They want to go, ooh, for every single move that people do. And, you know, people just can't enjoy a good old-fashioned demolition derby, which is what that TLC match was. So, damn it, that TLC match was awesome. And it was definitely better than Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. And this is with a night of sleep to think about it. And, yeah, the pure wrestling's fine and dandy, but let's face it, are you guys really going to remember Finn Balor versus AJ Styles a year from now? Hamp Connell is upset. He's leaving. We are not at 300 yet. We are at 254, so I'm not sure if this rant is helping me or hurting me at this point. Because I know some of you out there love Ring of Honor, you love New Japan Pro Wrestling, you love your pure wrestling where guys just wrestle and there's no storylines and no character development. They just go out there and wrestle. So if you like that stuff, you know, maybe you shouldn't be watching my videos because I am a sports entertainment guy. I like characters. I like chaos. I want my male soap opera where guys are just smashing each other in the head with chairs and, well, we don't see that anymore, but I like the pomp and circumstance of sports entertainment. And that's not what the other promotions are, in my opinion. So I am a WWE guy, and I like covering WWE because I like WWE. And sometimes they put on bad shows, sometimes they put on good shows, but I am with WWE. I'm a WWE guy, I'm covering WWE, and damn it, that's the way it's going to be. So that is my rant for tonight. I did not like the Finn Balor match with Kane on Raw. I thought that was stupid. Even though I just ranted, I think Balor should be protected, and I think they should book that rematch because he is entitled to the rematch in the storyline. You know, he never got beat for the title. Where's his rematch? Where's the logic? So that's the one thing. I want the logic, and I think we need to have Balor get that shot. Even if he's going to lose to Lesnar, at least just do it. I don't know why we're not getting Balor versus Lesnar instead of Lesnar versus Mahal. I don't care about Lesnar versus Mahal. It's boring. Mahal is boring. I want something different. So anyways, that is my rant for that. Anything else from Raw that I have not covered yet that you guys would like me to talk about? And these comments are going by so quickly. I apologize if I missed to some of these questions. Oh, somebody here said nobody gets their rematch. Why should Balor be anything special? That's the thing. You should be getting the rematch. And it was so obvious with Balor that he never got his one-on-one rematch. I mean, that's what bugs me. The fact that it's so obvious and WWE's just ignoring it. And Balor was even mentioning it on TV and we're still not getting any follow-up. If I'm the Finn Balor... Okay, I'm talking in storyline here. If I'm Finn Balor's character, I would demand a title shot because, you know, nobody's listening. So if I was Finn Balor, I would go out there and get in Kurt Angle's face and demand a title shot. That would make Balor's character edgy. And guess what? It might build his character. It might get him more over with the fans. It might elevate him to go out there and be assertive and get in somebody's face instead of just not doing anything. Instead of coming out there like Virtue said, coming out like the Fonz with his jacket, he actually needs to show some attitude and some personality and do something. Don't just be passive. So that's my problem with the Finn Balor character. He needs to do something. His character needs to step up and be edgier and grab the bull by the horns. And he's not really doing that. So I think that's why the character's not really getting over as much as he could be. Now, I apologize if I cut out here. It's saying poor connection on my screen here, so I might lose you guys for a minute or two. If I do, I apologize. Kevin says, bring back PG-14. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the rating is. It's the quality of the storylines. It's the storytelling. It's the characters. It's the music. It's the pyro, even though there is no pyro. It's all that put together, and you don't need to use profanity or have blood all the time to tell a good story. Yes, it's nice every now and then when the situation calls for it. Vince bleeding, for example, was a nice touch. It added some realism to that segment. It got you invested in the Shane McMahon-Kevin Owens match and made you interested in seeing those guys fight inside Hell in a Cell. Having blood in that case worked. But if they had blood every single week, it wouldn't be nearly as effective. look back at like 2002, 2003, they were doing blood like every single week on television. And at that point, it was just really overkill. Travis says the shaky cam almost gave me a seizure. He asked me to rant on that. I already did earlier in the video. I said it was awful, and that was the worst thing about that segment. And just in general, I'm not a fan of the shaky camera work. So you'll have to go back and watch the beginning of the video. I ranted on it then. Nakamura should be WWE champion. Well, I think just about anybody would be better than Jinder Mahal right now. Literally. I'd rather see friggin'... what's his name? The Fashion Police guy, Tyler Breeze. I'd rather see him be WWE champion. I'd rather see James Ellsworth be WWE champion than Jinder Mahal. That would entertain me more than Jinder Mahal coming out there and saying, you know, doing his usual, oh, there's 1.3 billion people, I'm the Maharaja, blah, blah, blah. It's just so boring. I'm so tired of it. I want to change. I'm not paying money to see Jinder Mahal. I just want it to end. I'm tired of it. I was even thinking about going to Seattle, but I'm like, I'm not going to Seattle to see a show built around Jinder Mahal. I'm not interested. So people could say, well, you're still watching. First of all, I'm doing my job here, but let's just say as a fan, I would not travel 3 hours to see Jinder Mahal. And I didn't do it. I didn't go to Seattle for SmackDown, even though I had thought about it. It just didn't interest me. And if let's put it this way, if Jinder Mahal was on Raw as the WWE champion, I wouldn't have gone to that Portland show. I wouldn't have been interested. So there's my rant on Jinder Mahal. Yes, Rusev for WWE champion. I gotta say, I feel there's still hope for Rusev. This Rusev Day thing is really catching on for me personally. And as long as we get Aiden English singing, I love when he sang the Rusev Day song. They need to do that every single week. That is extremely entertaining in my opinion. And every day should be Rusev Day. And we need Aiden English singing on every show because that guy's great. I love that act. That is sports entertainment. Rusev and Aiden English. That should be the next big tag team in WWE. Have them be the next tag team champions. That is something I would like to see. Push Rusev. Rusev Day is underrated. You're darn right it is. Let's see some of the other comments. Aiden is gold. Yep. Asuka versus Emma. Okay, so yeah, that was another segment on Raw. Uh-oh. Very bad connection. Before it was just a poor connection, but now my screen is telling me very bad connection. So I might lose you guys here. Hopefully we can go on here a little bit longer. I don't even know how many live viewers I have right now. It just says very bad connection. So I don't know. I don't know if we hit 300 or not. I'm not trying to make excuses here. I definitely want to give a shirt away, but it literally says I'm 27 minutes in and a very bad connection. Oh, somebody said 255. So we came close tonight. We came close. Not quite at 300 yet, but maybe one of these days we'll hit it. Maybe I'll do 275. Maybe for next week we'll do 275, and if we hit that, somebody will get a free t-shirt. Ryan King says, awesome Raw. Oh, so let me talk about the Asuka Emma thing. To me, that was pointless. I guess it was done just to get Emma some more TV time. I really don't understand the rematch. You know, I think it should have been a squash, you know, just like the first one. I don't know. I mean, I guess they don't have that many women, so they just got to do the repeat matches. Maybe that'll just be a running theme. Maybe Asuka will beat up Emma for like 10 weeks straight or something. Maybe they'll just make it a running joke. Brandon says, is Asuka a big deal? Well, she's supposed to be a big deal, and if you're doubting it right now, then WWE is already dropping the ball with her character. I mean, she did have the longest reign for a women's champion in WWE since, I believe, Fabulous Moolah. Maybe I'm wrong. You'd have to ask Jeff. Jeff's the trivia expert. I don't know the amount of days people were champion, but I think they said on Raw this week that she was the longest in 30-something years or whatever. So it might have been Fabulous Moolah. So yeah, they should do Goldberg with Asuka. Maybe just bring in like what they were doing with Nia Jax at first. Maybe bring in the enhancement women and have Asuka destroy them in short 2-minute squash matches. Just like with Braun Strowman, when Strowman was starting to get over, Strowman was destroying all these people and it was working for him. So I would do the same thing with Asuka. Just have her destroy people every single week in 2-minute squash matches. But yeah, I mean, I guess they did the match with Emma just to give her the TV time. Jeff knows everything. He even knows how many times Vince farted today. That is probably true. Jeff knows the weirdest things. And I appreciate that you guys think I could give Jeff a run for his money, but he is the West Coast professor for a reason. That was the name that was given to him by Mike Tenay. And by the way, we're back to a poor connection. I don't know what's going on here with the YouTube connection tonight. It's been saying poor connection, very poor connection. Let's see some of the other comments here. Team Raw will win this year. Well, they need to have something on the line. You know, all this stuff is really silly if there's no consequences. There should be something that the winning brand gets. Like, the winning brand should get to pick somebody to join their roster or something. There needs to be something on the line, I think, for people to really care. Otherwise, you know, just the whole thing where it's all about bragging rights. Jeremiah says, check your Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi is great because I'm reading the chat room on the Mac here, and it's perfectly fine. It's just for whatever reason the YouTube connection with the video isn't working. My Wi-Fi is great. My Wi-Fi is state-of-the-art. I'll just say that. Why is the IC champion kind of getting squashed? Because he's the Miz, and WWE feels Miz doesn't have to really win much because his mic work can keep him over with the fans despite losing all the time. That's the only thing I got for you, quite frankly. Miz needs to run as Universal Champion, says Siubid. Not sure to pronounce that. I think that would be better than Brock. Brock's another guy I'm sick of, you know. Yes, Brock has way more credibility than Jinder Mahal, but I'm so sick of the Brock gimmick. I'm just bored with it by this point, and I think it's run its course. I think Brock Lesnar in WWE has run its course, and I'm just tired of the same thing every time with Paul Heyman's promo and Lesnar doing the suplexes, and the matches haven't really been lighting the world on fire. I mean, the Goldberg thing was basically smoke and mirrors, and then the Joe match was good, but it was short, and then the Strowman match was a huge disappointment. So it's not like Brock has been killing it in the ring over this past year. I mean, ever since Survivor Series, even the Orton match wasn't that great. So, yeah, I'm over Brock Lesnar. And I really don't care about Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal. I seriously would consider taking a bathroom break during that match if I was there in the building for that show and not covering the event for NoDQ.com. I would just take a leak for that match. As The Rock would say, this match sucks, I'm going to go take a leak. Balor going to SmackDown. Maybe they could do something like that, but I don't know. I feel like Balor really wouldn't gain anything from going on to SmackDown. I think the best thing for Balor is to get his match with Brock Lesnar, and at this point, I'd even say have Balor beat Lesnar. Lesnar versus Reigns for WrestleMania doesn't appeal to me. I'd like to see something different, but I doubt we're going to get it. But at the very least, Balor getting a title shot would be a nice touch. But maybe after WrestleMania, when they do a superstar shakeup, they could consider moving him over and have him go to SmackDown. The Daily Buzz says KO versus Balor. There you go. That's a good idea. Dylan says no Lesnar versus Roman. No. WrestleKid says will Raw go back to 2 hours? Ain't gonna happen. As much as it would make Raw a more entertaining show because it would be shorter and there wouldn't be as much filler, it's not gonna happen. Who do you see turning on their team at Survivor Series? Well, I don't know what the teams are at this point, so it's really hard to say right now. Once we have that finalized, then maybe I'll make a prediction. I'm sure when we do our predictions, we'll go over all that. But yeah, I think right now I'm looking forward to the NXT show more than Survivor Series, and that's, you know, the pure wrestling show. I just think the thing about NXT is they keep it simple, which is something I like. And they don't really overthink things too much, which is a good thing. And the shows, of course, are way shorter. NXT is what, 2.5 hours? And then you have Survivor Series, which is like 4 hours, and that's just ridiculous. The pay-per-views are too long. NXT is nice and short, gets straight to the point, which is something I like. Jason says Green Bay is always a crappy crowd. Will Raw invade SmackDown tomorrow? From Billy. Would not surprise me. Actually, I think there's a very decent chance of that happening, where it'll be the opposite, where the Raw guys show up and invade SmackDown. I could definitely see that happening. Brandon says Raw needs a top heel. Well, they got Joe, and we saw no Joe on Raw tonight. I'm assuming Joe's going to be back for Survivor Series, and he will be on the Raw team. One would think that, at least. But yeah, no Joe on this week's Raw. That would have been a nice touch. Maybe Joe can be the captain of the male Raw team. Have you talked about Jeff Jarrett? Yes, I did. Earlier in the video, I pretty much said my piece on Jeff Jarrett. The guy sucks, and nobody's going to miss him. Hey, Aaron, how are you? I come from Germany. Thank you, Lars. Thank you for watching from Germany. I appreciate the support. People from all over the world tuning into NoDQ Live. I appreciate it very much. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video and think I sound at least halfway decent with my thoughts on wrestling. I know sometimes I'm ridiculous. Sometimes I'm being a hypocrite. You know, I'll trash one thing and then praise it. I go back and forth. But I try to give my best thoughts possible. I try to put logic into my opinions, and I try to be fair. I really do try. So thank you for tuning in, Lars, and to everyone else, I do appreciate the viewership. Thoughts on The Rock's tweet? That was funny. I mean, not really much to say about it. That guy was basically just making a stupid joke about wrestling being fake, and The Rock called him out on it and told him to F himself. I mean, it was funny. It was entertaining. Rick says you're a tweener. Nah, I'm a good guy. I'm definitely a good guy. Oh, we have somebody here from India. Thank you for watching from India. I appreciate that. Okay, Almighty CJ, somebody put that guy on timeout. Tyler, somebody in the chat who's a moderator, put that guy in timeout. What is your thoughts on Ken Shamrock? From Michael. I like Shamrock. Should be in the WWE Hall of Fame. I've said this before, that guy. Oh, thank you, Tyler. Shamrock, I think, really helped WWE in the sense of bringing in the UFC-style submission into WWE. Once Shamrock came in, you started seeing the guys tapping out instead of just giving up. It used to be that guys would give up, and then when Shamrock came in, people started tapping out, and that became the norm for submission in WWE. Shamrock changed WWE, and he did make his impact in the company. I definitely feel he is Hall of Fame worthy. Yes, 100% William Gray. Chris says, how is Portland? Portland is awesome. I love Portland. Instagram.com Aaron Rift. You can see all my different pictures from Portland, from the coast, and various other parts of Oregon. I highly recommend it to anybody out there. You're looking for a good vacation, come to Oregon during the summer, take a trip down the coast, visit all the beaches, all the scenic areas in Oregon. There's so many, not just on the coast, but inland as well. Mount Hood, Crater Lake. There's a lot of cool areas to check out in Oregon. So when you're planning out your summer vacation, come to Oregon. I highly recommend it. Anyways, that will wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Live. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back tomorrow night with another edition of NoDQ Live to talk about SmackDown, and we'll see what happens next in the Raw versus SmackDown saga. Thank you guys again for watching, and that'll wrap it up. We will see you next time.